Maybe we should have like a band list.
Oh my god, yes.
Let's start it
Yes.
with him. Anything that he's done, we're not watching it.
A pause. Do you think that we should do like some sort of like spoiler, like
spoilers in words at the very beginning?
Hi everybody, this is the 8th episode of 2Chicks 2Cents. Thank you for being here. I'm Tiffany, and we're going to be talking about the movie Mother in this episode. And with me, I have my lovely co-host, Delilah.
Hey everybody. If you missed last week's episode, we talked about the movie I Care a Lot. It is on Netflix. I wasn't the biggest fan, but you know. If you want to check out the movie, go to Netflix. You want to check out our take on it, all the links are going to be below for you like they always are. This week, we are talking about the 2017 movie Mother, and let's get into our description of the movie.
In the psychological thriller Mother, Jennifer Lawrence plays a woman whose tranquil life with her husband is upended by the arrival of mysterious strangers. As their idyllic home is invaded, the boundaries of reality and nightmare blur, unveiling distorted love, psychological abuse, violence, and all-out chaos. Mother challenges viewers to decipher the point of this dark allegory and Darren Aronofsky's twisted interpretation of human nature. Okay, I wanted to say one thing. Oh, never mind. It was just something I wanted to also comment in the show about I Care a Lot real quick. I was like, I didn't say I loved it. I did actually say I loved it. And I did love it. I loved how much it shocked me and surprised me.
Yeah.
And it was like, movies
loved,
don't
like,
really
the
surprise
feeling that
you.
it gave you.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
how it caught me off guard and I was like, oh, I didn't see that coming because movies are so predictable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anywho, well, let's get back into this episode, and I want to know your first impression of this movie.
So, this movie was suggested to us by my sister-in-law.
Yes.
And so I went into it with like open heart. Like I was trying to like, she thought that this movie was, I don't necessarily know. She was telling me that this movie was just like that you would have a lot to talk about. And that it was a very interesting movie. And so she's like, oh, you guys should watch that movie.
Did she say it'll get crazy? She said it gets crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so I went into it and I was like, okay, let me see. And then you, Tiffany, you ended up watching it before me and you were like, oh, you know, be a little bit ready. So then I went into the movie like, I'm like, all right, like, what's going to happen? And so I felt like the whole movie, I was like, what's going to happen? But honestly, like, I don't understand how they did this, but I felt like the movie was fast-paced and slow-paced at the same time. And I kind of left the movie just like, what the fuck? But all around, I thought the movie was very captivating. The way that it was filmed made sense for like the movie and everything. But also like, I wouldn't turn the movie on again. But like, it was cool. I think that a lot of it did go over my head because my husband was like reading while we were watching it and he was saying like the director was saying that this movie is based off the Bible and stuff like that, and maybe just because I wasn't raised very religious, so I'm like, I don't understand the references, and I was like, it's getting a little wild, but okay. I felt like the movie was very captivating, but I don't think that I was the target audience because I do feel like a lot of it went over my head. But all right, that's how I felt. Like I was watching it, I was just like, all right, what are you doing? What does this mean? And then the end, and I was like, okay, like that was my whole expression the whole time. I was just like, and like, you guys were both right, like there is a lot to talk about, but also I sort of just feel like the movie went over my head.
Oh, okay.
So
Um,
I don't know.
for me, the whole time I kept wondering, like, is she dreaming? Because I've actually literally had dreams like this where there's like wall to wall people. I can't escape. I try locking doors. People, there's like a new door that automatically appears, and
Yeah,
I'm like, can't get away. Like, I've had dreams like that. And so I kept wondering, like,
same.
is she going to wake up? But then she doesn't. And then there are like references later to things that happened before. And so you're like, okay, so it wasn't a dream. They both experienced it. She's not crazy. So that was a little strange for me. I was like, okay, it doesn't make sense. It's not really like reality. Um, and I really didn't like the relationship between her and her husband. Right from the jump, you could feel that aloofness, that, you know, brushing her off kind of thing. And I was like, ugh, I don't want to watch that, you know, like, and but I get it, you know, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm watching. And you're right, it was captivating. I did like I started it while I was at work, and then my shift ended, and then I paused it and like continued at home. But like on the way home at first, I was like, okay, I don't know if I like this. I don't know how I feel. But then when I got home, I was like, I want to finish it. You know, I was like thinking about the whole thing. I want to know what's going to happen. So definitely does suck you in. Most of it was just really like uncomfortable and like triggering, because you're like, oh god, these people are assholes. They're destroying your house. They're stealing shit. All that. And then the end, I just felt was completely pointless. Like, completely pointless. And I don't know. I really, really hated it. But I feel like most, like in Hollywood, like when they're coming up with horror concepts, they realize that they can't scare people anymore. So the only thing left to do is like just disgust and horrify you, which is different from being scared, you know. So like I think that's why they, you know, killed the fucking baby in front of her and ate the baby. Like, why else do you do that? You know, and it made me think, like, what the fuck is wrong with the writer, you know? Like, you have to want to see that. You have to want to do that to somebody. And like as an actor, like they experience it. Like your subconscious can't distinguish between perception and reality. And so it's really traumatizing to a person. And like it's known, that's known in the industry. I don't know. I cried for Jennifer Lawrence. Like when she was sitting up there starting to have her baby, like I cried for her because I was like, this is really traumatizing for her. But yeah, that was my take on it. I was like, really fucked up. Actually kind of shocked that they're allowed to do that to somebody. And I read, or my sister told me, actually, we were talking about it. She said that she would never do another movie like that ever again because it was just too fucked up. And I agree, I wouldn't either.
That's what I was gonna that's what I was looking up right now as you were talking about that. I was like, I feel like I remember like hearing something or maybe seeing like a TikTok or some shit about how after she did the movie Mother, like she needed a break or something, or that she wouldn't film another movie like it and everything. And being a mom, like watching that scene, I was so uncomfortable and I had to like start like picking up my vanity and stuff like to be like distracted as it was happening, because I was like, I don't want to fully engage in this because I couldn't handle that if that was me. Like just like the whole birth and then like him like sitting there
Waiting to
not
take it
caring
from
about
her.
her. Yeah, and like she knew that he was waiting to take the baby from her. And then even afterwards, like whenever he did that and he gave the people the baby and then they killed the baby, he was just like, they needed to see him. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. It was just very, it was disgusting.
It
That
was
was it. It was
disgusting.
disgusting. And I was like, I was definitely like distracting myself while it was happening. So I was like, I don't really want to engage in this scene. I don't really want to be a part of this. And my husband was like, that's whenever he was reading and like trying to figure out like what is this movie about, like why are they doing this stuff, and he's like, so what I got from like what the director was saying is that this is supposed to be like uh the god, the husband is God and she's mother nature and all the people are humans, and it's like they're ruining like the world or something. And then it was like I don't know. That's the thing. We both were sitting there like trying to get it, like what the director
Will you
was
send that
saying,
to
and it
me?
just wasn't.
Will you have a look?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
tell him to send it. Yeah, and like it was just like that. Like that's what he kept saying. That's what like the director was like trying to get across was that, um, the guy is God, she's Mother Nature, and she's happy with just like just them and keeping their world nice and everything. But he just wants more and more, and he sacrifices like himself and his child and everything for humans who are ungrateful and ruining everything. And yeah,
I
and
did
it's just like
not
a
get that
cycle.
from that. I
I
mean,
didn't get that either, and I'm only saying that because that's what he read,
no, no,
like,
no,
and
I
that's what he
get
was
it.
telling me, and so I was trying to put it to that, and then I was like, so it's a Bible something, and then like, so I was trying to like go in, like as it's like happening, I'm trying to like put it to that then, and I'm like, I don't really think he did a good job getting his point across,
You
like,
know,
I don't know.
you know,
That's just it. I was just like, I don't
my
know.
impression after was that it looked like some Illuminati shit. And the reason I say that is like from the witness accounts that I've watched or read, they have this MO of like violently torturing, because there's like this like chemical that's released into your blood during extreme duress, and then they will like actually drink that, and it's supposed to like have extreme like anti-aging kind of properties, whatever. It's like sick and gross. And they also so more than that, it reminded me of this witness testimony. Well, we'll say witness, alleged witness, because you can't really prove any of this stuff. They have these like parties, and so like they have all these different rooms and different sections where you do stuff, and it like progressively gets more fucked up as you go. It's like a little bit here, and then so just like the movie, it started off a little bit fucked up and gradually got worse and worse and worse, and then at the end it's like a flood. So I kind of felt like it was almost like they were taking the audience through each of that, and if you were willing to sit all the way through the end, then they were gonna like completely shock and disgust and horrify you or whatever. So that's what kind of gave me that vibe. And like I dissected it a lot more in my head, obviously. It seemed like definitely like even it could have been like they have initiations and stuff, and it could even have been like Jennifer Lawrence's initiation, like why they would do something like that fucked up to her. So I don't know, but that was the vibe I got. And then like, oh yeah, so that I perceived the ending like this horrible trauma, and then there's that something that is produced from that, something beautiful that's produced from that, and that's what he took out of her heart. And that made me think of the whole like torturing the innocent and then like drinking their blood. They're getting this positive, wonderful, life-giving benefit from this person's pain. So that's what I saw. I could see where someone would twist that and say, oh, that person's God, but that was literally a fucking devil. Like,
Yeah,
he's literally the fucking devil.
that's what, as I was so like in the beginning, like my husband didn't see in the very first like maybe like 10 minutes or whatever, and so whenever he comes in he's like, what did I miss? And I was like, honestly not much. I was like, in the very first scene there's girl on fire, and then and then you see the husband, and then you see Jennifer Lawrence wake up and she's looking for him, and then a random guy comes and like claims that he thought their house was a bed and breakfast, and then the husband invites him to spend the night, and that's where we are now.
There's so
And
much
he's
they
like,
don't
was she
explain
on fire?
too.
Yeah. And he goes, was Jennifer Lawrence on fire? And I was like, I don't know, I don't think so. And then he was like, so who's the girl that was on fire? And I was like, I told you every single thing that I know. And he's like, what? And I was like, it didn't look like Jennifer Lawrence that was on fire. And he's like, what do you mean by on fire? I was like, it's literally just like somebody's face and it's on fire. If you would have heard this conversation, it was like 3 minutes of us back and forth. And I'm like, it was just a girl. It was just a girl and she was on fire. Like, and he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, and then in the very end, whenever it happens to Jennifer Lawrence and she's like, I was like, that's exactly what I saw, but I think it was a different girl. And he's like, what the hell? And then whenever like the very last scene and like it's another girl and she wakes up and she's looking for him or whatever, and I was like, yeah, it's some kind of like reoccurring cycle, and it's like a different girl every time. It's like a never-ending cycle but with different girls every time. And I'm like, that's weird. And then like they don't explain that and like why he wants this little crystal thing,
and just then, to break it again. Like just to break
it. And that's the thing. That's I'm like, yeah, you're just gonna invite people, they're just gonna break it, then you're gonna end up in this like World War 1800, like, because he's doing this all the time. Like, it's just literally a never-ending cycle, and all that's happening is that women are being essentially, it feels like, tortured to their core, and they die, and then you just start it all over again. That's the only thing that everything else is the same in this cycle, besides it's a different girl every time, and he's just kind of torturing her until she dies. And I don't really get the point of that. And then I was like, maybe there was some sort of supernatural, like it could have gone into like some sort of supernatural something cool, but then they don't ever explain that at all. Like, just nothing is explained in this movie. So I really do get how like the movie's captivating, and like there's a lot to talk about and nothing to talk about because there's no answers.
Right. Like,
I was
speaking of no answers, so like that scene where the man is there and he's like puking in the toilet and he's like naked.
Yeah.
And then he like moves his hand because there's like a cut. Like, you have no clue what's going on. They never talk about it, never explain. I was like, how did he get like a cut on him? And why would he want to cover it?
And then like they said that he was dying from like cancer or something. That's not going to give him a cut.
No.
Like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then whenever his sons break in and fight, and the one son kills the other son, and then like they leave her at home alone, and then the killer son comes back and he's like, oh, they left you alone? You realize what that means? And then he like drops something, picks something up, and then leaves, and he's like, good luck. And she's like, what the hell? Like, they never explain that.
Nope.
Why would I? What? That's the whole thing. I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I was like, is this a dream? Because like nothing anybody says makes any sense. Yeah.
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 That's what I just always felt like I was waiting for the, like, you know, usually in the end or like towards the end, like you start like understanding what it's about, and you're like, oh, like the big realization as they like start to break it all down, and you're like, oh, I get it. Like, and it just never came for me. That's why I was like, obviously this movie just went over my head, like, because maybe somebody else got it, but now I'm feeling like maybe nobody got it. Because then whenever I was just researching like to see like about Jennifer Lawrence, like, and if she liked this movie or whatever, and like the number one Google is like, what's the point of the movie Mother? Everybody's like, and I'm like, oh,
that so was my literal, like, the whole, I was like, what was the fucking point? Like, aside from just wanting to do some fucked up shit and like and trick people into experiencing that horrible fucking shit. Like, that's all I got. I was like, why else?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. That's
maybe
it.
That was it.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, captivating but really messed up. I wouldn't watch it again. I wouldn't have wanted to be an actor in that.
Not even
but
an extra.
I guess they did a good job.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it.
Yeah.
That's it. I didn't get it. It didn't spark that like rage in me that the I Care a Lot movie uh did, but
Yeah, it sparked some rage
I
in
don't.
me for sure. It did.
Yeah, I was just like, okay. But I noticed the guy like in the end that was he came in and he was kind of like acting like a reverend or a pastor or something, and was like, I don't know, like it kind of got a little culty there in the end. And he like eventually was randomly bald, and then he had like a tattoo on his forehead, and he was like initiating people. And he's the one that like closes the door for them whenever they go like and she's giving birth. Him, he's in this show called Haven that I used to watch, and he is a reverend in that one, and he's like super culty in that show too. And I was like, dude, you're just good at that role. Like, that's just who you are, apparently. I wonder, let me see
Maybe.
if I can see what his name is. I feel like he's always like a culty reverend.
That's hilarious.
Oh, right here, Stephen McHattie.
Not familiar.
MCHATTIE.
Huh.
He's a culty guy. Apparently, he's in Beverly Hills Cop. I never noticed that.
Interesting.
Beverly Hills Cop 3.
I don't know if I've seen any of those.
So I just recently watched them because they put a new one on Netflix and we wanted to watch it. And I was like, well, I want to watch the old two, and they were good.
Who's in it again?
Eddie Murphy.
Okay, that's what I thought. Did you ever watch that Eddie Murphy cop one with Robert De Niro? Oh, what was it called? Um, it was like Eddie Murphy was like a beat cop and he wanted to be an actor. Some producer people, they want to start a cop show, and they really like Robert De Niro because he did some shit publicly in front of the cameras, and they're like, that's our guy. Not ringing any bells? Oh, it's actually really good.
It might be this one that I'm looking at.
What's the name say?
Well, this is. So this says Beverly Hills Cop 3. And it says that guy that I was just looking up, that he's in it. But whenever I rewatched the Beverly Hills Cops or whatever, this third one was not on Netflix. So I didn't even know that it existed. I just watched the first two, and then I thought it went into the last one that they just put up, the Beverly Hills Cop fully. I guess I never saw this one.
Oh, well, it's definitely not a Beverly Hills Cop. It's something else.
Yeah, so I think, yeah.
I just can't remember the name now. But yeah.
I'm sure, like, you said it's with Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, it was a fun one. It was a fun movie. Like, I think you'd like it.
I'm looking at Eddie Murphy's things. Another 48 hours?
Mm-mm.
Showtime?
Showtime! Yes.
Yeah, there it is. It's a picture, and it's got like Robert De Niro, he looks like a detective, and then it's Eddie Murphy, and he's like in like a like clearly fake cop outfit. And I was like, oh, that must be it.
It's so funny. I loved it.
That's funny.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
wrap up if you want.
Was there anything in the movie that you liked, or that like you were like, that was cool?
Not really. I mean, there were things that weren't like awful, weren't bad. I am curious also about the thing in the toilet. You know, there's another thing they
Yeah.
didn't explain.
Yeah.
And how the
Kind of
house
forgot
was,
about
like,
the
just
thing in the
randomly
toilet.
bleeding. Yeah. Yeah. I was very uncomfortable throughout most of it. It wasn't interesting or enjoyable, really. I just wanted to know what the fuck was going on. So that's kind of it. I don't.
I feel
think I
that.
liked
That's how I
anything.
felt. Like
Yeah.
a majority, I was just like, what is going on? I feel like, yeah, the whole time I was just like, what's going on? That was
there
my
anything
whole.
you
That
liked?
no.
No.
Oh, I mean, like I said, the movie was captivating. Like, okay, if you guys end up watching this
Subsuing.
movie, the movie is captivating, but the whole time you're just kind of like, what is happening? And then it just gets like real aggressive towards the end, and then you're just
Yeah.
left like, what happened? That's how I felt the whole thing, just like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
And then the movie's over, and then you gotta go live your regular life, and you'll never know what happened. what's going
Yeah.
on? What's this about? So,
Yeah, what would you rate it? I forgot to even ask you
oh yeah,
last week's movie, but yeah.
last week's movie gets a negative 1800 out of 10.
I give it a
This
7.
week's
7 out of 10.
movie. This week's movie, I'd probably give it a 2 out of 10, and I wouldn't watch it again. Ooh,
Yeah,
that rhymed.
2 for me too.
Maybe I'm a rapper.
Yes. You definitely got the vibe. Okay, yeah, 2 for me too.
Two.
Honestly,
A two.
I might
Solid
even give it a
two.
1. Yeah, solid 2.
Yeah.
But I looked up the director's name. I don't think I'll ever watch anything else from him again either.
I think that there's definitely, like, you do something that fucked up, like, you sign on to be on this project, I'm looking at you weird.
No,
He
wrote it. He wrote and directed it.
Oh, definitely. No, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're a weird
Bye,
guy.
Felicia.
Yep. Ooh, maybe we should have, like, a band list.
Oh my god, yes.
Let's start it with him. Anything that he's done, we're not watching it. Band. Ooh! His face with a thing. Band.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Like, he cares that we're not gonna watch his shit anymore.
No, he doesn't care.
He doesn't care one bit.
Well, that's all we have to say about this movie. It's time for our drawing now.
We are gonna draw our. If this is episode 8, next week is episode 9. So this is going to be our very last movie drawing for this season. How exciting. But first, we did get another show recommendation. Our very first person that we don't know. So thank you. So we'll put your name on the screen in case, like, I mess it up. But it's at Munchies5674. He suggested, or she, sorry, we don't know if it's a boy or a girl, the movie Loki. So the show Loki. So we're going to put it into our show bin, and maybe we will check it out. I mean, I'm a big Marvel fan, so I have already seen it, but I would love to watch it again and talk about it. So thank you for your suggestion.
Yes, thank you.
Our last and final movie drawing.
I can't believe it's the last one. Better be a good one.
It's the last one, and we still have 3 in here. So it is, yeah. I feel like I'm nervous. Let's see what it is. What do we have?
I can't see it. Total Recall.
Oh, Total Recall.
This was a
the old
recommendation
one
from my friend. Yes, it's the old one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yes.
Oh, I love it already.
Right?
Arnold.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Okay, I saw the new one.
I think
I have not seen this old one.
I feel like I probably have seen it because it's older. I'm more than likely seen it, but I don't remember.
It was pretty popular, I guess,
Is it
when
the
it came out.
1990 Total Recall?
I think so.
All right.
When was the other one?
There's a lot of them.
Really?
This one is Arnold Total Recall 1990. We will be able to watch it a lot of places. You can watch it on Paramount, Roku, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, Fandango, Pluto. Oh, Pluto's the only one that says, like, for free, but I'm pretty sure Pluto has commercials, but that's not a big deal. Yeah. Honestly, it's kind of nostalgic whenever I watch something with commercials now.
Glad you feel that way. For me, it feels like torture.
I'm just like, every time I watch something on, like, Pluto or Tubi or something, I'm just like, aw, I'm gonna go take a quick trip to the bathroom or something. I just remember,
nice.
like, as a kid, and you're, like, racing the commercial, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. It's got an 82 on Rotten Tomatoes, so
ooh, that's
nice.
really good.
I
actually tried to rewatch the more recent one with Colin Farrell, and I just couldn't get into it again. I remember liking it the first time I saw it. Like, I thought it was decent, but then everyone's like, oh, have you seen the old one? It's so much better. So I'm definitely Changeling?
It looks like there's only two. There's the 1990 one, and then there's the 2012 one.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
2012.
I'll probably end up trying to watch both.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I might give it another shot.
Yeah.
Just to compare them.
Yeah. I love a good comparative moment.
Yeah. Maybe subconsciously I wanted to watch the old one first because I don't remember things and I prefer to not know what's gonna happen.
Same.
Yeah, so.
I prefer to, like, if it's like I prefer to just have all the information whenever I watch something, because then I feel like if I just skip into like the most recent something, I feel like there's always backstory or something that I'm gonna need to really understand everything to like truly appreciate it, you know, if I'm gonna like it or not.
That makes sense. Well, I'm thinking that's all we have for today. Is there anything else you wanted to say about this movie or the movie we talked about?
I got nothing left to say about any of that. Side note, I am a little sick, so if you notice my cough drops, mind your business. That's it. That's all. That's all I had to say. If you watch the movie Mother, definitely leave some comments and let us know if you figured it out.
Yeah, we got that.
That'd be helpful.
Mother Earth reference, or if it also had Illuminati vibes for you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let me, yeah. That's about it. Let us know if you figured out the movie.
Yeah. Well, we will see you next week.
Bye.